Welcome to Bubba Unsponged. It's where Bubba the Love Sponge, me, does an interview with somebody cool. They might be real famous. They might just be my friend. Hard telling. This kind of is both. This guy is my friend, and he used to be real famous, and I think he still is. Keith McCants in the studio today. Hello, Keith.
Hey, how you doing today?
Let me see, bud.
Good to see you.
I don't know if Blitz is switching or Blitz. If you're switching, give me a couple knocks, and if I need to switch, whatever. Just let me see. I think Blitz might be switching, or I might be switching. Keith, how are you, my friend? It's been a while.
I'm doing fine, man. It's been a minute for us, Bubba.
Now you got to get right up on the microphone, Keith. You got
all right.
Oh, hold on here. Boom. You got to get right up on that microphone.
There we go.
There you go. And you brought a friend of yours. Now, you son of a bitch. Not that I'm not appreciative of the guy that you brought in, because I am. But I thought that you were bringing in Robert Blackman, the ex-Seattle Seahawk that went in the 90 draft after you and played for the Colts. And that's who I thought you were bringing. I'm like, oh, Keith's bringing in another NFL guy. And instead he's bringing in an aspiring politician. Same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Blackman. Is that your name, Robert?
Yes, it is.
As in the football player.
Well, I'm trying to do the name justice as well, so.
Yes. And you're running for City Council of St. Petersburg. That vote is less than a month away.
It is, and I'm hoping to
What
be
district
victorious.
are you in?
District 1, but it's a citywide election, so anybody in the city of St. Pete can vote.
How many city council members seats are there?
There's 8 total, 4 up for election, 2 are incumbents running for re-election, so.
And so we'll talk about that a little bit. Keith, obviously. Now, Keith, so every Wednesday I do a thing called Bubba Unsponged. It's outside of my regular show. I do it live on YouTube, and then we repurpose it and play excerpts on our regular show, and we do real well with it. But like I had Deion Sanders on one week, Tony Stewart. I've had a bunch of radio guys on. So, it's just a natural progression to have an athlete like you on. Who is also a good friend of mine. We used to, was it 92, 93, Keith, that we kicked it?
Yeah, 1990, 91, 92, 93.
92, 93. I got here in September of 92.
Yeah.
How did we very first meet? You know how I think we first met? I think you heard me on the Power Pig talking all that shit, and you had to come down to the studio and see what it was all about. I think that's how it went down, didn't it?
I think so. You was talking so much crap, man. I'm like, who is this guy?
So you drove up
check this guy out
with your Benz. Keith McCants, Alabama. I think you graduated in, was it the 80? Your last season in Alabama would have been 89.
Yes, it was 89.
And let me just think about who was on the. I don't even know who was on the 89. Was Derek Thomas?
No, Derek Thomas was on the 88 team.
88 team.
He came out in 89.
Mike Shula?
Yeah, Mike Shula.
Quarterback?
Yeah.
Cornelius Bennett?
Yeah, he came out.
And you guys, at the 86, 87, 88, 89, your 4 years, they never won a national. You guys never won a national championship, did you?
No, we didn't.
How close did you guys come?
We came real close, man. We came extremely close. I think we played Miami for it in 1990 and the Sugar Bowl. Lost 25-33.
Man, you were the man. Now, as heralded as you were in the 1990 draft, for a while they had you going 1, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they had me going 1, man. Then Jerry Glanville cooked up some scheme and all that kind of stuff, and I end up, this is crazy stuff happening in the draft. And I'm dropping from number 1 and number 4.
Well, first of all, the Cowboys had their first pick, but they lost it because they went, I think they got Steve Walsh in a supplemental deal, so then it was supposed to be what, Indianapolis? No,
yeah,
it was supposed to be Atlanta, and then Atlanta traded to Indy.
Yeah,
right.
And they ended up Jeff George, yes.
Jeff George, Illinois. Then so now at this point, when Atlanta's on the clock in the 90 draft, are your phone ringing? Like, so are you at home? My damn dog keeps trying to get in. Hold on here, damn it, Pookie, get in here. Come on, Pookie, get in here. Sorry about that, Keith.
That's all right.
This isn't regular radio, so we can be a little bit more loosey goosey.
All right, cool.
Let's take it back to the combine, Keith. Did you do the combine? Or did you do one of those VIP pro player days because you were a straight man?
They all came to the University of Alabama, and the reason I had them come to the University of Alabama because I had some guys that needed to get a look, and they got a chance to get looked at.
So you're like, I can do my boys some justice here. I'm gonna make them because I am a top 5 guy. I'm going to make them come to me. So you didn't go to the combine, right?
Right.
You do a pro. I think they call that a pro day.
A pro day.
Do a pro day at Alabama. Did was Perkins there to oversee? No, but it was Bill Curry.
Bill Curry was
Bill
there.
Curry. Now, when you do a pro day, Keith, how does that work out? Like, do you just get some potential seniors that are could potentially go to the NFL, and you guys all kind of just do drills?
Yes, guys. Some of the guys that are seniors that come that last year, they get a chance to work out in front of those whole 28 teams. That's what it was back then, and all the guys really appreciate that because some guys got looked, some of these guys even got picked up, and
so for your pro day, who do you think you helped out the most that may have gotten more eyeballs on them than would have maybe they didn't get invited to the combine or maybe they wouldn't have done as well?
it's I don't know.
Did any of the homies come up to you and say, "Hey, man, Keith, thanks"?
Yeah. There's quite a few guys came up to me and thanked me for it.
So for your pro day at '89, who was was there 31 teams back then? I think there
28
was
teams.
20. Was every one of them there?
Yeah, all 28 teams was there.
All 28 teams.
Yeah.
Do you do the 40, the bench? Like, what did you do for your pro day? And what was your 40s? How fast were you, Keith? Were you 4.6?
I ran a 4.54, I think, but I was listed as like a 4.43, and it was kind of disappointing in my speed. But
well, I know you're 6'3". You're what? You were built 6'3", 265.
Yeah, something like that.
And I mean,
I was 250.
All right, 6'3", 250. A linebacker, a guy that can cook, and you said you were disappointed at a 4.5. You were supposed to go 4.4.
Yeah.
But you go 4.5. So when does, at this point, I think it's Atlanta on the clock at number 1. Did you have to do like the 225-pound rep, or did you skip that?
Yeah, I did that. I don't know how many I did.
Were you strong back then?
No, I wasn't that strong. I was a lot faster.
Faster than you were strong.
Yeah.
And so when did you start, like, you're dropping a little bit? You said Glanville cooked up some shit on you? Is that how it first started?
Yeah, Glanville. Atlanta did what you call a chop job. That's when they call a media guy like Lynn Pasquarelli called him in, and all this stuff is in my book.
Right.
I got a book called My Duck Side of the NFL by Keith McCants that explain everything from my addiction to my playing years of being a hitman.
Dark side of the NFL, and you can get it through Amazon. Right?
Yes.
And so then that just came out.
Yeah.
Or it's been out for a little bit, and we'll continue to promote it. Dark Side of the NFL with Keith McCants, available at Amazon, and it goes through a lot of these questions. And so Glanville starts what, like kind of fucking y'all on the PR deal?
Oh yeah, he hired this guy named Lynn Pasquarelli. Well, Atlanta Falcons hired him, and they do a chop job for making me fall in the draft and all that kind of stuff.
Now, was it because they wanted to pick you up?
No, because they wanted to discredit me for not taking me.
Oh, so they didn't take you. Now they traded to the Colts last minute, and the Colts weren't looking for a linebacker; they were looking for Jeff George, obviously.
Yes.
So then number 2 comes up, Jets. I think they took Blair Thomas.
Yeah.
Penn State. They're not looking for defensive help. The first person that you probably could have gone to may have been the Seahawks, were at 3, but I think they were looking for more of a down lineman. They went with Cortez Kennedy.
Yes.
And then Bucks come in at 4, and Perkins was formed. Now, did you play for Perkins at Alabama?
Yeah, I was with Perkins at Alabama. He recruited me
as a high school senior.
Yeah, and then
so Perkins
he ended up
like
leaving.
He left, and then Curry took over.
Yes.
And so Perkins, at this point, did Perkins pick you because the Bucks truly needed a linebacker, or did Perkins pick you because he just knew how much of a stud you were at Alabama?
Well, Perkins been watching me through all my high school career. So and he knew the talent level that I had, and I was a basketball player.
Did Perkins pick up the phone prior to draft day and go, Keith, I got you. Like, if you're available at 4, we're going to get you.
Pretty much.
Because I know that stuff happens. They will sometimes. And did you have your deal done? Now, were you still hoping to go 1 through 3, or did you know after the Glanville fucking and all that kind of stuff that you probably were going to? Did you know that you might drop to 4?
Yes, I knew I was going to drop to 4.
And so, at that point, was your deal done after Perkins had called you?
Pretty much. It pretty much was a done dollar.
Here is the 90.
In the beginning of this calendar.
This is the 90 draft, and I think Robert, you're the one that got this from a guy in England, didn't you?
It was a guy in Australia, and it's extremely hard to find this old footage. You have to talk to a lot of strange people in a lot of weird corners of the internet to get this stuff. So
now, Keith, at this point, what what Chris Berman says? Is this some of Glanville's bullshit, like the stuff that they were saying as far as you were partying and stuff like that? Was this all Glanville shit?
Yeah, it really was.
There we
The
go.
year in 1990, the name Keith McCants had to be everybody's top choice. Junior linebacker, Alabama, deciding to come out.
That's right. You came out as a junior, Keith.
Yes, I was.
Now, Keith, did you come out as a junior because I think you even said that you knew that your knee was not doing as good as the NFL knew, and you probably knew that you couldn't play another senior year, or you'd do that much more damage to your knee.
Exactly. I knew. I knew.
You knew you
I was
had to
hurt.
get out.
I knew I was hurt, but I decided, come on.
Well, you had
That's
to.
a junior. Yeah, I had.
And
no
everybody
choice.
figured that he would go first, that he would indeed become.
Now, Keith, during the prodding and the medical history and stuff like that, or during your pro day, did anybody sniff out your knee, or nobody did?
Everybody looked at the knee, and as soon as I got drafted, and I got on a plane and came here, had exploratory surgery with Dr. Carson here in Tampa Bay to see how bad the knee was actually what it was.
So did the Bucks keep that from everybody? Because when they opened you up, was it like, oh shit, this knee's worse than we thought?
No, it wasn't, but they knew it was going to get worse.
Oh, so they knew that there wasn't a quick fix.
Right.
That indeed, orthopedically they just couldn't fix it. They were going to have to do something drastic. So they knew. At that point, did their attitude change towards you once they opened your knee up? The Bucks.
I don't know. I don't know if the attitude changed towards me. I know that I was kept from the field my rookie year, and the fan was complaining. I was complaining. I want to get out there and play and prove myself. And that's pretty much at the end of the season. That's what I did. And
Now, wasn't it Keith McCants, ladies and gentlemen, overall 4th pick in the 90 draft? Good friend of mine is too. We hung out for a couple years, 92, 93, like as friends. Like we were like, not only is it cool to have Keith on as a former player and talk about his book and with his friend Robert, but Keith and I used to kick it back in the day. And so it's kind of like, talking to a friend a little bit. Keith, how long have you been back to the St. Pete area? I know that you were up in Alabama for a while.
Yeah, I went to Alabama for a while and then came back here to St. Pete for a while. I've been here about a year now.
And I think you're doing some radio stuff, are you not?
Yeah, I am.
So we fast forward to 90. Here's the draft. They've picked 3. It went Jeff George 1, Jets picked Thomas at 2, Penn State, Seahawks 3. Now I think at this point everybody's like, okay, Keith McCants has got to go. It makes sense. It's Ray Perkins, his ex-coach, and Keith McCants' stock has fallen, and this is them talking some shit.
Remember the Falcons or whatever they wanted to do with their pick. If you weren't with us this morning on game day, before the draft began, we reported the story out of the Atlanta Constitution.
Same thing happened to Sapp, didn't it, Keith? They muddied him up night before, remember?
Yeah, they did.
Like, he smoked marijuana. Well, big fuck. Like, who cares?
I know.
I mean, if they let smoking weed legal, you guys wouldn't have to be hooked on fucking pills, right?
That's true.
Like, seriously, the NFL needs to look at, we're going to make legal. You can relieve some of your pain by getting high and not having to fucking take. I mean, I can only imagine the shady shit that happens in the NFL, shooting you up with cortisone and take these pills and take those pills. And that's all legal, but you can't smoke some weed to feel better. And,
Right.
I think Warren dropped like 10 spots, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It really did.
Warren was pissed off about that.
Unnamed physicians that said that Keith McCants may need knee surgery that would shelve him for 6 or 7 months.
And so, Keith, that was right. Right? That was right.
Yeah.
That report.
all essence.
Now, Keith, are you sitting at home? Because at this point, man, you're a player, and it's going to be big money. And there's a big difference between being the number 1 guy and being the number 4 guy. And I know at this point,
$7 million difference.
and you're just seeing this money slip away, and you want to take care of your family, and you want to buy the Benz with the boats and have the white bitches like all of us want to do, and like you did. Even though, I mean, you wrecked havoc with what you got. I can't even imagine if you had $7 million more than you had. I'm kind of glad that because you would have gone fucking crazy.
Shelf him for the entire 1990 season. Now, this comes on top of some things that have been questioned about McCants. Maybe that he doesn't work as hard as he should. Maybe that off the field he's enjoying himself too much. A lot of people who...
I will tell you that Keith and I did enjoy ourselves. Maybe not too much, but we certainly had some good times now, didn't we, Keith?
Yeah, we did. We had
may not have
fun.
been in the know, but nevertheless
We had a
shaded
blast.
the perception of Keith McCants. Tampa Bay has the next selection. Ray Perkins is the one that recruited him when he was the coach at Alabama. And so
Was Ray cool?
Yeah, Ray was a player coach. He really was.
So out of all the guys I think Buddy Ryan was a coach. Who was the coach?
Yeah, Buddy Ryan's a great coach.
Who was the coach at Houston when you went there for a year and a half?
Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan, and then he went to Arizona and brought you in.
Yeah, he did.
all of this angst that Keith has been feeling.
Inventor of the 46, right? 46D.
The 46
They go by
defense
the
is something
board.
serious.
Those 86 Bears, or it was an 85 or 86 Bears?
85.
85 or 86 Bears with Singletary and Wilbur Marshall,
Yeah.
and Gary Finsick, and
In about 10 seconds, and we'll see what the Bucks do.
Tampa Bay selects Keith McCants, linebacker, University of Alabama.
Good. That's done.
now I think they pipe into you, Keith, and you're live from Alabama from your mama's house, right?
Oh, yeah.
Close the book on that.
No, actually,
What's
from my apartment in Alabama.
What's the first thing you bought your mama?
A house. I built a house.
You built a house.
The first pick overall.
San Diego.
Look how thick you were. Thick as fuck. Look at that.
There he is, Keith McCants. And we told you Keith was with us earlier from his home.
Still had a pretty face on you, though, didn't you, cuz?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't too
Mobile.
bad. Ain't too bad.
We told you to relax. It wouldn't take that long.
Keith really wanted to say, I'll tell you what, fucking took $7 million out of my pocket, bitches. All this nonsense.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
By the Buccaneers and a guy you know.
Mama, you're getting 3,200 less square feet, baby.
So you can smile.
All
How do you
right.
feel, my friend?
Hey, I feel great. It's a dream come true. It's all over with now.
Ray Perkins talked to you a little while ago. Did you have a conversation with him yet, Keith?
Yes, I talked to him a few minutes ago, and we discussed some things that we're going to have to do.
So, Keith, I don't want to play this all. At that point, had Perkins given you the bad news where they were going to try to put you from an outside fucking badass linebacker to a down lineman? And who was that? Don't even tell me the guy's name. Fred Barney or somebody, some bullshit defensive coordinator had some brilliant idea to put you down as a down lineman.
Yeah, he did.
They weren't telling you that when they drafted you, were they?
No, they didn't.
Because you were out. Were you outside or inside at
I
Alabama?
was an inside linebacker.
And do you think that you would have done better? That down lineman shit's for the birds, isn't it? When you're used to playing up.
Well, yeah. When you're playing up, you're playing middle linebacker. I was used to going sideline to sideline, but when you put a person on one side of the field, you're able to isolate that person, run away from him, and when you do run towards him, you overload, and it was just like bam.
So when do
playing
they?
with the
So,
Bucks.
so when you report to camp, to report, do they say, "Hey Keith, where you want to bring you down as a down lineman?" That had to suck because you'd never played down lineman before, had you?
No, I haven't.
And did that's that the conversation they had with you?
They asked me how would it be? Well, do I feel comfortable coming off the corner? And that's getting the quarterback and this and that, being a Chris Dolman type of guy, and being converted from linebacker to defensive end.
And I think in 90, you still had 2 sacks though in 90.
Yeah.
And then 91 you got after. You had 5 sacks. 5 sacks in 92,
34 pressures, hurries. So.
34 pressures and hurries, and then shipped off to Houston in 93, right?
Yeah.
Out of the guy, when you would practice for the Bucks, did you have to go against Gruber?
Yeah. Every day.
How bad is that? I mean, is he? And that's a real man right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a big ass farm boy of a
Every
man.
day we face each other.
Would you ever say, Paul, man, come on, cuz, just chill out? Because he was intense, wasn't he, Keith?
Paul was great, man. He was a great guy.
I think on that 90 team, what is it, Reggie Cobb, Vinny Testaverde, Gruber, and let me see if you can remember the guy's name. A pretty good friend of mine. Well, at least, we've kept in touch. Indiana University guard. Ian Beckles. Rookie. Made the team and went on to play for a while, and then I don't really know much about. I don't remember 91 too much. I think
Mayberry.
92. I think you played with Santana Dotson.
Oh yeah,
and that's the
Mark
year.
Wheeler.
That's the year my boy Ty J got in the cut.
Yeah,
86. Right?
Oh yeah.
How close were you and Ty J?
We was all right, man. It was all right. End up in the same spots, hanging out a little bit.
In practice, did you have? That's a man. He played tight end. Did he ever? Well, no. Did you ever have him on the end?
Yeah. I had to go against him in practice.
That's a load.
I remember when Ty's mother passed away.
Oh yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah.
And you know, we've had
Detroit, I think.
No, it was Chicago, Soldier Field.
Yeah.
And every year that he played for the Bucs, or he bought that ticket. Did you know that? He bought that seat and would put a bouquet of roses at that seat that she died at. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Ty J and I have become close, and every year that he played in the league, if he would play Chicago, he would get that seat somehow and put a bouquet of roses in there to remember his mama. Ty J has often said that. Have you seen Ty J lately?
No, I haven't.
He does like decaf, like he runs and does biking and stuff like that. And he said if he would have he didn't even take the NFL serious. He's like, man, I just fucked around and I would just, I wouldn't even go out. I would just get high and fuck around. And he's like, had I really applied myself, I could have been a lot better. He just did all of what he did on natural ability.
Yeah. He was good. He was good. He was
big.
He was outstanding. Yeah, he was.
Big.
He replaced Ron Hall.
He said the worst mistake, this is Ty J, Keith, the biggest mistake Ty J ever made is I think he was playing against either Philly or Green Bay when Reggie White played.
Yeah.
And Ty J did something pretty good, like, chipped him or kept Reggie off the quarterback or some bullshit, right? You know, Reggie was like going half speed on one play, whatever, right? And Ty J got all up in his fucking grill and be like, yeah, Reggie, you ain't shit. Like how Ty J would, right?
Uh-huh.
And I guess Reggie said some scripture and shit, and then just absolutely annihilated Ty J like on 3 plays in a row. And Ty J was like, man, the worst shit I ever did was to talk shit to Reggie. I should have kept my big mouth shut. Ty J he's a bad, like out of all the dudes that you ever played with, whether it be in 93 in Houston or 95 at Arizona. I know you played with Seth Joyner, Eric Swan. Who's the baddest dude of all? Not statistics wise or how anybody made the Pro Bowl, or like who's the truly baddest dude that if you had to be in a fight, you got this dude to be on your team? Would Ty J be one of them?
Ty J had definitely been in the top 2. I had to go with Eric Swan.
Really?
Eric Swan was a master. He was a beast. I love playing beside this guy.
That's what Deion Sanders calls a real man. That's a grown man right there.
Yes, sir.
Wanted Cardinal defense. 7:50 clock ticking in the 4th. Walsh.
Here's Keith McCants. How'd John run that guy? Oh, that's a big lineman. He can't get you. Look at that move.
On Jim Harbaugh.
Look at that move.
And he does. Touchdown, Arizona.
Oh, you weren't knocking it over the pole, were you, Keith? How did you get this move? Hold on, let's just move.
Walsh knocked intercepted.
Boom.
Keith McCants. He's got to beat Walsh, and he does. Touchdown, Arizona.
That was against Chicago. That was Buddy Ryan playing against his old team, was it not?
Yes, it was. First touchdown of the year.
I think that's your first touchdown of your career, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Only one.
No, I needed another one the next week against Seahawks.
No way.
Yeah.
For Arizona.
Yeah.
You had 2? You had really?
It's on YouTube too.
I got to find that one. This guy's like, that motherfucking Keith McCants. I didn't think he had any gas left in his tank. Who was that? Dave Wanstead, right?
Yeah.
Like, Keith, you're trying to go to the strip club. Man, I got to go to the fucking strip club. Keith is already in Scottsdale going to the fucking strip club. Hey, Keith, look. Oh, we got a game left.
Keith McCants was a bust at Tampa Bay. Played for Buddy Ryan at Houston. They let him go. He's here in Arizona. Brought in to pressure the quarterback. And he's come up with the biggest play maybe of his career.
Now, Keith, how big were you then? Were you like 270, 275 here?
265.
260. That's really light For a defensive lineman, isn't it?
Yeah, I was there. I was there basically just to rush the quarterback.
Just for some speed, speed on the corner.
Yes.
I talked to him yesterday. I said, I see you.
Compromise Eric Swan.
Now, is this Glanville as the play-by-play guy?
Yeah, he is.
Being a dick.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, he's all about being cool to you now, but he's not saying, well, I did a smear campaign back in '89 to really fuck this kid. He's not saying that, is he?
No, he ain't saying none of that.
Fucking two-timing motherfucker.
But I said
it. Did you?
I said it, yeah. I said it in my book. Glanville did, and Lynn Pasquarelli.
You know who Glanville did dirty too? Brett Favre. Remember how fucking dirty he did Brett Favre?
He sure did.
One of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And Jerry Glanville said, "Man, you're never going to get in the game." Remember, it's called him an ass bucket.
Yeah.
I talked to him yesterday. I said, I see you making all kinds of plays. I see you
plays I could have made for you, you fucking hayseed.
Doing things that you never did before. He said, you know why? I'm right next to the big guy. I'm right next to the Swan. They got to account for him. They let me...
Shut up, Glanville, you two-timing liar.
Go, I get to make plays. What a play.
That's the first defensive touchdown for the Cardinals this...
So, Keith, when you were in Arizona there, I think you were there a year.
2 years.
Were you there in 2 years?
Yeah, year and a half, yeah.
What was your favorite city? I mean, obviously you played in Tampa for 3 or 4 years and then went to Houston. I'm thinking Houston might have been your favorite city.
Houston was the city.
Better than T-Town? Better than the White House?
Oh, yeah.
What do you know about the White House, cuz?
Houston was one game from the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. Who was the...
Warren Moon was the quarterback.
Yeah, motherfucker, I was going to say Warren Moon. Don't tell me. I'll tell you who's on some of that team. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Warren Moon, Sean Jones.
Yeah.
And I think you had Wilbur Marshall.
Yeah.
Did you have
Wilbur Marshall, William Fuller, and Lamar Lathan? We had a loaded powerhouse.
At the 93 Houston. And Buddy, why Buddy did good there. How did he get fired out of there?
Buddy, he didn't get fired. He took the job for Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Keith McCants in the studio today. Keith, what do you think about this? I got it on the screen now, and you know this. And Keith, I think that you know me to be not a racial guy. Like and I hate to say this is really a cop out when white guys say, "Well, a lot of my friends are black." Well, you know it's true. I got a lot of African American friends, a lot. So you know that I'm not a racist guy.
Right.
You know that. Am I boring you, buddy? You get some sleep last night, guy? So you know what this blackface stuff. Don't you think that our society goes way, way overboard? And don't you think that our society should gauge people on what their meaning is? Like if you're dressing, like why couldn't I, Keith, dress up as Biggie Smalls at a Halloween party?
Wow.
Why couldn't I? Why couldn't I dress up like Keith McCants, wear a 90s Cardinals jersey, and be my friend Keith McCants? You know that if I did that, if I wore brown makeup, I'd be fucked. Like it'd be Bubba Unsponged, blackface. But that's not my intention. So this guy from Notre Dame, he's an African-American guy, and this is his past weekend that he was playing. And don't you think that's a little overboard and that's just not a good look?
Well, that's something serious.
That's overboard, don't you think?
That's kind of serious right there.
And like it's just all you're doing is just open yourself up for people to screw with you. Because you're instantaneously just polarizing people.
What kind of statement he's trying to make?
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to make. Like, like I don't know. Like that is a little excessive for eye black. I know you've worn eye black before to keep the glare out, and that's not this guy's intention.
Wow.
Isn't that just like if I'm the coach? Can you tell a coach now? Are kids coachable, Keith? You know, you came up for the Bill Curry and the Ray Perkins era, not too far removed from the Bear Bryant era, right? I mean, and I don't think you can coach kids like the way you and I were coached. Right. Like you can't yank. Like I guarantee, if Buddy Ryan, if you were fucking around, he could grab your face mask and twist it and be like, "God damn it, McCants, get your shit together." Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't do that to kids nowadays. And I don't know that a coach can tell this kid, I don't want you wearing that. Like, that's not the symbol that we want Notre Dame to be behind. I don't know if you can do that nowadays. Can you coach kids up like that, or do you have to hand them with, like, snowflake gloves?
I don't know. I don't know. The times have changed so bad, man. They changed the rules in football and it's changing every day, so it's very, very difficult to say.
And now, I mean, I'm sure you watch football when you can, NFL. Yeah. And, I mean, now it seems like everything's reviewable. And, you know, like, I think it makes the game better, but I think that we're just, I don't know, I think that this concussion protocol thing has really got everybody all freaked out. And are you part of that at all? Did you get any part of that?
Well, I'm still working on that, Bubba. I'm still working on that concussion case right now. And I'm getting really close.
So who were the people? Because Keith, you might be one of the most debilitated, hurt players at your age. Are you 53, Keith? Are you
51?
Okay, so you're a couple years younger than me. And I mean, when you got out of the truck today, I was almost sad because, you know, when we were together, like in 92, 93, you know, when we were hanging out, you were just a fucking strapping, big, powerful NFL, you know, machine, you know, and I was just fat ass. And I now get around better than you because I've not sustained, you know, what you had to go through in the league. And does the league have lifelong health insurance for you or anything, or do they just leave you out to pasture, like to leave you basically crippled like the way you are? Do they have anything for former players?
Well, now they will pay the copay on hip replacements and knee replacements and things of that nature, but they trying to get better at it. And before they had nothing for the ex-football players, and they just left us out to dry, and that right there it was a bad thing. So now
with the amount of money that they earmarked for concussion, okay, whatever, there was a large amount of money. Is it my understanding that guys like you and, you know, really, really hobbled up concussed players really haven't got anything? They still haven't really even divided or found out how they're going to do it. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
So nobody, yourself, Junior Seau's family, people that really suffered from these concussions, you've not got one bit of at all, nothing.
None whatsoever. But I talk about that. I talk about all that stuff in the book, and that's the reason I wrote my book called My Dark Side of the NFL. People like Andre Waters, Junior Seau, Jeff Arm, Bobby Petrez, Tom McHale. People have gone to try to take their own life because they lost a bit of their life on life term as a normal human being. The struggle that we go through every day, not just physically but mentally as well.
Did you ever get diagnosed as, and back in the day, Keith, when you played, nobody ever got really diagnosed as a concussion. If you didn't see you know, if you could literally get out there and didn't have a fucking excruciating headache and they just threw you right back out there, didn't they?
Basically, that's exactly what they did. But I had like 17 concussions, and I did diagnosed with the
effects,
dementia. Yeah. So.
Do you find yourself very forgetful and having dementia?
Yeah, I do from time to time. That's why I have somebody with me 90% of the time.
What hurts the most on you, Keith? Your hip?
Yeah, my hip.
Not the knee that was in question. But,
knee already been replaced.
Knee been replaced.
Yeah.
Now it's your hip.
Yes.
And have you been scheduled to go in at all?
Well, yeah, I got to lose a few more pounds, so I've been on a strict diet.
What are you weighing right now?
Like 310.
You're not 310.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're 6'5"
now.
Well, you grow in your old age, bitch. I thought you were 6'3".
Yeah.
Well, how shady was it? I know you can talk a little bit about it because it's so far removed, and it's all the rage now. You know, recruiting on the collegiate level, and obviously your former school, where you're an alumni. You know, Alabama is one of the very best at it. How corrupt was it? Were you being recruited in 1985, 86? Is when the recruiting process did virtually every school. Could you have gone anywhere you wanted?
Yeah, I could have went into school and I wanted to.
Being a kid growing up in Alabama, was there anybody that was close to Alabama and you going? Was there a Miami? Was there a Florida State?
That was Auburn and Tennessee.
And did you go to both?
Yeah, I went.
Visited both?
I visited them both.
Were Tennessee or Auburn in the running at all?
Yeah, no doubt.
And did any shady shit happen when you were being recruited?
No shady stuff with Alabama.
No, nothing of that shit.
No, I just
Not like, remember, what was it, the SMU that fucking Craig James and Eric Dickerson were rolling around in brand new Trans Ams and shit?
No, I ain't had none of that.
So, do you talk about in your book, Keith? You're a freshman. You go to University of Alabama, and you know that when you're a football player on for the University of Alabama, that's like next level shit, right?
Yeah.
And the women, like, what was it? You're this stud out of high school, but from a small town. You don't really, I mean, right? Very small, and you were kind of. Keith, you were kind of farm, weren't you, a little bit? You weren't big city.
I'm the old country boy.
Yeah, you're country boy, right?
Yeah.
And you go to University of Alabama as this very high, one of the most heralded high school athletes. How much pussy was just thrown your way?
A ton.
And can you remember the very first rock star experience while you're in college? You're this fucking farm boy. You're this country bumpkin, and maybe you got 3-4 cheerleaders just going to town. Like, do you remember that very first oh wow moment?
Oh man, the dimension that kicked in. I can't remember.
See, nobody asked you the cool ass questions, Keith. Nobody asked you about the White House. Nobody asked you about Bubba Clem getting an apartment. Nobody asked that shit now, buddy. Let me just ask you this. Were there some moments, Keith, when you're at Alabama and you're the big slinging dick, right? I mean, you're the man. Even your sophomore and your junior year, they knew you were going to go out early. Was there ever any moments, Keith, that you just looked around in whatever particular situation you may have been in and been like, man, this is fucking rock star shit?
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I thought I was the man, but when I was there, I had Bobby Humphrey, I had Derek Thomas, I had Cornelius Bennett. I was a man next to the man. And when I saw what how life was treating them, and Kerry Gould and Pierre Gould, when I saw how life was treating them, man.
How many years was Broderick ahead of you? 2?
1. Yeah.
But he'd already he already done had all rock starred out, right? Like Broderick, so when you go to University of Alabama, Keith, who showed you the ropes? Like which guy took you underneath the wing? All right, come here, boy.
My cousin did.
Come here, Rook. Get over here and let me show you how it fucking goes.
Yeah, my cousin.
Was he on the team?
Yeah. Freddie Robinson. Yeah, Freddie Robinson played cornerback. And Willis Shepard and Angelo Stafford, they're from my hometown. They took me and they showed me the ropes. They introduced me to the people I needed to know and showed me how it was done.
Now, when you come in, did you redshirt your first year?
Yeah, I was. I was like a Prop 48 my first year.
All right, so Prop 48, bad grades, whatever the fuck. So you're eligible your second year. Did you start your second year?
Yeah, pretty much.
And at that point, you still got Broderick Thomas on the team.
Yeah, Derek Thomas.
I'm sorry, Derek Thomas.
Yes.
He's inside, you're inside, right?
Yeah, I'm inside, he outside.
Oh, God, that was deadly, was it not?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a wonder you guys didn't have a better record that year. Who was was Shula your quarterback then?
Yeah, he was. My Shula.
So your homies show you the way. They go on to graduate. So when you're that junior, now who did you take under your wing and show the way of the land, how shit goes down?
Spencer Hammond, George T.
George T.
Yeah.
Remember George T. It was hold on, I'll tell you who it was. It was Lamar Thomas at the Sugar Bowl, and Lamar starts fucking around, like starts showboating. Didn't George take it from him?
Yeah, take it from him and ran it all the way back.
George T. You know who let's see if your dementia is kicked in. What's my favorite football team? Do you remember what my favorite team is? I used to fuck with you all the time about it, and I only
Miami. Who was it?
No, in fact, I only asked you for one set of tickets your entire career, and it was to play. It's when these guys came to town. They're my favorite team. Can you guess?
I can't.
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. That's right. The Green Bay Packers. That's right.
Green Bay fucking Packers. You played. Yeah. You played 3 or 4 times in Lambeau.
Yeah, I did.
What now? Is that some backward ass shit? Like you guys would go to like.
I had some great games against Brett Favre.
You did. Did you ever talk some smack to Brett Favre?
Actually, when I left Tampa, I ended up going to Green Bay for a tryout and so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. And Brett Favre was there. Brett Favre, Reggie White. They were so happy to have me on their team, but I couldn't pass the physical.
Bad knee? Still the knee comes into play?
Yeah.
When you played in Green Bay, you played obviously in Detroit. You played in Chicago. You played in Minnesota. I'm talking about people in the league at that time. The Bucks were in the Central. Is Green Bay as sleepy? I've been to the Green Bay a lot, but I got to think that as a visiting football team, that it's really not. There's not a lot to do in Green Bay, is there?
No, it's not, man. It's cold. It's just cold there. When I was there, we was going to practice, man. I seen guys earlobes and pinky fingers falling off from frostbite.
Where was your favorite road city to play? Like when you would go, and so playing for Houston in the AFL, and then obviously Phoenix on the West Coast, and then the Bucks for however many years, for the 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 years you were in the league, you pretty much played almost. I don't know if you played New England or anything like that.
Yeah, I did.
But where was your favorite place to play out of town, and why?
Oh man, I'm seeing
Dallas.
Dallas was a good place to play.
Philly?
Yeah, Philadelphia. Oh my God, Philadelphia. That was oh man. We had with Philadelphia was
The dirty
a great
South.
place to play.
The dirty South. Now, when you guys would have when you have curfew and stuff, Keith, would there be ways to break curfew? Like, did all the boys break curfew? Like, if you were a Keith McCants or not some rook that's trying to make the team, but like if you were established, could you break curfew, and did you?
No, I didn't. You didn't have to break curfew. It's just all you had to do is get somebody the key to your room.
Oh, like a friend that would maybe be swinging by.
Yeah.
And so you guys didn't have to room together. You'd have a private room.
Yeah, most of the time we did.
And if you had a private room, then you could just have a visitor.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't any. You didn't have to really go out. You could just have the party come to you.
Basically, that's how it worked.
Keith McCants in the studio. Keith, a longtime Buccaneer, and then a Houston Oiler, and then an Arizona Cardinal. His friend Richard Blackman, who I thought was a Seattle Seahawk. Robert Blackman. But instead is a St. Pete guy that helps out Keith a little bit and is also running for city council. Keith, as we get closer to the election, I should have you call the show, Robert. I should have you call the show because we're heard on AM 820 and a few other places in Tampa, just to remind everybody to vote for you in the city council deal.
Absolutely. I'd take all the help I can get. It's going to be probably a tight election. Trying to spread the word and do some good.
Keith, what do you think about the current Antonio Brown situation?
Wow, man. I'm interested in seeing how.
Does a guy like that be able to come back, or do you think he fucked himself?
I think he really screwed himself over, and they're gonna have to take a very good look at the situation and see and how they can.
Well, first of all, he probably needs to get this legal shit taken care of, like whatever. Nobody's gonna touch him with the current shit that's out there. I don't think.
No, they ain't gonna touch him with a 10-foot pole, and they probably shouldn't. And then if you do touch him, we're gonna want a guy like that who want to be a scam artist on their team. And you got Antonio Brown, the player, and you got Antonio Brown, the person. So
now, has he just been mishandled? Like, is it Drew Rosenhaus's responsibility to take him aside and say, "Get your shit together"? Or like, what happens when you're a player of that caliber? Are you just around a bunch of people that enable you and just tell you what you want to hear, and it just causes you to create this monster?
Basically, that's what happens. There's around too many people that telling you what you want to hear, and that they think you can get away with because you're a marquee player. And you just got the wrong people, taking advice from the wrong people. That's what I feel that's happening. And not putting the organization first. And that's what I think you need to do. And somebody in the organization need to put him to the side and put his coattail and say, hey, like this, there's no one man bigger than the team. And that's that's the way it is in football, basketball, baseball. There's no one person bigger than the team.
Who was the one guy that you played with, whether it be from Houston or whether it be from the Bucks? Who was the one guy that you played with that was just straight money? like just as far as ability, as far as attitude, as far as getting along with his teammates. Like just, you know, like you never played with a Reggie White, or maybe you never played with a Brett Favre, but like
Warren Moon.
Was he that classy? Was he just that straight money?
Yeah. Warren Moon, he get along with everybody.
And by 93 in Houston, he had already established himself. So, like, was he in Houston, like, nobody? Like, if you had a problem, do you have guys in the locker room, Keith, that are, like, locker room guys? Like, if there was some shit that went down, Warren would handle it as a team leader?
Yeah, he would put his 2 cents in.
Like, in your days in Tampa, who was that locker room guy in Tampa?
Locker room guy.
Like, who was the, was it a Broderick Thomas?
Broderick Thomas, me. You know what I'm saying?
Vinny? Was Vinny very step up-ish or no?
No, he wasn't.
Quiet?
Yeah.
How about Gruber?
Quiet guy.
Quiet guy.
Yeah.
What about when you went to Houston? It was Sean Jones, Wilbur?
Yeah, Sean Jones, William Fuller.
What was Wilbur Marshall like? He was a badass in Chicago.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he is. He still is. Wilbur Marshall's a good guy.
Quiet kid?
Y'all know, not so quiet.
And then how about who was the quarterback for you in Arizona?
Dave Craig.
Oh, that was the old Seattle guy.
Yeah.
Dave Craig. Keith McCants, former Buccaneer, in the studio today. Keith's got a new book called The Dark Side of the NFL. It's available on Amazon. Keith, you're also doing some stuff for AM 820. I think you're doing some interviews and some things for AM 820 as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you just got on Twitter, I think. That's how I got a hold of you.
That's right. Keith McCants, Twitter.com.
Did you see where my Twitter got suspended forever?
Yeah, I know it. What happened with that, Bubba?
You know what I think happened?
Yeah.
Remember that little bitch? That kid, that little 16-year-old girl, that global warming bitch that was just like going crazy on global warming?
Yeah.
And she was I just said, shut up, little kid. I just said, hashtag shut up, little kid. Because she was getting a little mouthy. I go,
Right.
shut up, little kid. And that got me, because I told a little kid to shut up, I got suspended.
Wow.
Isn't that some bullshit?
It is.
What do you think about the Colin Kaepernick thing?
Wow.
Did I get you on that one?
Yeah, you did.
Step up and say what you really truly feel on it, though.
I'd rather not comment on it.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yeah.
And you can be my friend and tell me if I'm close or not?
All right.
I think that Colin Kaepernick misused his celebrity and polarized a lot of good people to be mad at some stuff, and that, do you know who I had in here, Keith, in that sitting in your very same chair that said it the very best? Tony Dungy.
Right.
I had him in my studio, sitting in your very same chair. And do you know what Tony said? And now, you can't argue that that's one of the coolest dudes. Like, Tony Dungy is royalty amongst the NFL.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, calm, collected, the epitome of a class act. Would you not agree?
I agree 100%.
Tony Dungy said, a player that does what Colin Kaepernick does is a disruption to the team. And that he would, if he was Colin Kaepernick's coach, he would tell his players that you can take my weekly press conference as a coach. I get afforded a weekly press conference that has far more media. Everybody's here. And you can use whatever time you want during my press conference to deliver any message you'd like to. But let's keep it off the field. And let's keep it out of the game publicly like this and make a public spectacle out of it. And let's respect the people that served our country and use your celebrity and a different stage for your very important message. And I think that's pretty.
I agree with that.
And, Colin Kaepernick, a superstar, could have very well have held press conference after press conference and gotten all the footage on the same message that he wanted to deliver and kept it off the field, so to speak, and put people, fellow players, owners, general managers, fans, coaches, put all those people at odds because it's a no-win situation. It really is. People are going to have a definitive A or B.
Right.
And Keith, when you're a player, no matter how much you make, aren't you still an employee of that team?
Yes, you are.
When you got a paycheck, did it come from Tampa Bay Buccaneers account? Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Right. So if the organization has a policy, like Keith, obviously Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the NFL have a policy where you can't, roll up with, a bunch of cocaine in your system. You're going to get thrown out for that. Well, can't they have rules that you cannot kneel during the national anthem, and that happens to
Well,
be a
you know
team
what?
rule?
You know, since that happened, that's what's going to happen now throughout the league. It's going to be put
In a team rule.
writing that there's certain things you can't do, and that's one of them.
You know, Jerry Jones said, "You won't see a Dallas Cowboy doing that because he won't be a Dallas Cowboy."
That's right.
And I mean, if you
you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You got to stand up and take a stand for something, and that's what I think. And by kneeling down to the national anthem, I think it's a slap in the face to all the veterans that went out and gave their lives for this country. And you see these veterans out here that's homeless and things of that nature. And it's just a slap in the face.
And you know, it's just. I agree with you. I really do. But Colin Kaepernick felt very strongly against police brutality and stuff like that, which I understand. But I think you could have done it in a better way, in a more classy way, not to divide so many people, because it's such a hot spot that everybody's going to be you're either on one side or the other,
right?
Which causes people to be in a bad spot. Who was it? It was McKay that owned the team, not McKay. McKay was the general. Who was the general? Hugh Culverhouse owned it.
Yeah. When
you played, did Hugh ever come to practice?
Not that often.
You never got to play in the new stadium. You always had to play in the old Sombrero, did you not?
Yeah, I did.
And your practice facility was right over there by the airport, and you guys had to smell jet fuel, did you not? Didn't they have their weight room was outside, Keith, and it would get all rusty?
No, they just had some weights outside, but
that wasn't the main weight room.
No, it wasn't.
And who was Ray Perkins was your coach, and then what? William Donaldson?
Yeah.
How much of an ass bucket was he?
Well, he just stepped in. He just stepped in because they did what he was told from the GM.
And then who was the GM that drafted you, Keith?
Phil Kruger.
And then the William Davidson guy came in for what, a season and a half?
Yeah.
And then who came in?
Sam Wash.
Sam Weish. What was he like? He was just
an asshole.
I heard he was I think Ty J said that he might have been a two-faced son of a bitch. He would tell you
doubt.
He would tell you something and then he would go out and tell the media something else and fuck you.
Oh yeah.
He had one couple good years out of Cincinnati, and then he came down here. One year he was 5-3, and he was remember he had 5-3 in the paper, and and then he completely shit the bed.
Yeah.
Who's the one that cut you? Was it Sam Weich?
Yeah, it was.
Did you ever have any words with him?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Can you tell me what you said?
I can't remember.
Is that dementia kicking in again?
It is.
Did anybody have to calm you down?
No, I tell you what, I remember Sam, the mom call came on the show. We don't pay you X amount of million to sit on the bench. Get back in there. Get him back in there. All right, Sam Wash.
So you were hurt.
Yeah.
And Sam said, fuck it. We're going to put him in.
Yeah, we're going to play him anyway.
And he played you and probably hurt you more.
Yeah, he did.
So now when you got cut, Keith, was it during the season?
No, it was during preseason.
During preseason. How does that go? Is it literally like the movies where you're at camp and they go, hey kid, come bring your playbook down to how does it, and I'm not trying to put an uncomfortable
basically, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? I have never been cut too many times in my life.
Right.
But when
and I'm not trying to bring a bad subject. I'm just saying how it happens protocol wise.
Protocol.
Like how do they say it? Do they come and get you out of your dorm room and say, okay, Keith?
Oh yeah.
And did you know what was happening? If they go, hey, do they say, hey, Keith, you need to go see the coach?
Yeah, they say, hey, McCants, you need to come see the coach and bring your playbook with you.
And you know what it is?
You know exactly what it is.
So do you go at that point and meet your defensive coordinator, or do you go meet Weich?
There you go. You're going to meet both of them.
And they're there?
Yeah.
And they say, okay, Keith, well,
There's two reasons why we're letting you go. Number one, free up the money, salary. Number two, you damage goods. You hurt.
And what? And does that where
first thing they try to do is shop you around for a trade. That's the first thing they try to do.
So now while they're shopping you around for a trade, are you getting that rumor back to you that they're shopping you around? Does your agent know?
Yeah, the agent know about it.
So the agent be a week or so before, but hey Keith, I just want to let you know they're on the phone trying to trade you.
Yeah.
And was there any potential close trades that you know of?
Yeah, well, actually no, not that I knew of.
And then did you go to Green Bay for a tryout after
I did.
Before Houston?
Yeah, I went to I went to New England Patriots. They signed me. I went to New England Patriots with Bill Parcells. They souped me up the same day I got there. I got ran in reverse. I fell. And They looked at my knee and said, "No, you damaged goods." And Houston picked me up.
Oh, so you played a game for New England?
Yeah, I did.
Preseason?
Yeah, I did.
And a guy runs reverse. You blow out your knee.
Yeah.
There at that point, man. Do they cut you that night?
Yeah, they cut me that day. The next day.
So you're going to practice, and they're like, "Okay, Keith, done. See you later."
Yeah.
Is it really that cut and dry?
Oh yeah, it is.
All right. So, did you even have an apartment, or are you just living out of a hotel?
Living out of a hotel.
All right, and you still had this big ass crib, I think, with Gigi back here, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, what happens as a professional athlete, Keith? You had this. I think at one time when you signed with the Bucks in '90, you had the largest defensive rookie contract ever, right?
Yes.
And you got what, $1.5 million up front?
2.5.
2.5 million up front.
Yeah.
You had that badass place on the water.
Yeah.
Is that the first place that you bought when you came to town?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So when they cut you, what happens then as a dad and as a husband and as the head of the family? Like, does your wife and kids go to in the hotel with you, or do they stay back home until you figure out where you're going to work?
They stay back home until you find somewhere solid to be at.
All right. So at that point, you go to you're living in a hotel in New England, and they cut you, and then now Buddy calls you out of Houston.
Yeah.
Do you send for the wife and kids at that point?
Yeah, I send for them at that particular point, but basically they just stay there because I'm still staying in a hotel. And
in Houston?
In Houston. Yeah, I end up getting a townhouse and stuff like that. So
now at that point, do you call for the kids and the wife, and they come over to Houston?
Yeah.
Now, do you have to sell the house in Tampa and all that? Go through all that bullshit?
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Did you do all that, or did you have to? Did you have people to do that for you?
I had people to do it for me, pretty much.
Did you end up getting screwed on the money with all? Is that?
No, I didn't. It worked out all right.
So you sell your house in Tampa. You move to Houston. You there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then
Arizona.
Did you get traded to Arizona, or I
got cut again.
Cut again. Buddy had left. Buddy had left Houston. Who came in to coach after Buddy? Fisher? Was it Fisher?
Yeah, Fisher.
And he cut you.
Yeah.
Same protocol.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith, not working out. You're damaged goods.
Actually, Buddy Ryan probably told him to cut me so he can pick me up.
Does Buddy call you personally then after you're cut and said, "Hey, 90, get your ass over here"?
Yeah, basically that's exactly what happened.
And was the money towards the latter part of your career? Let's say Arizona. Was the money okay? Was it decent?
It was okay. It was
Mill?
Yeah, it was all right.
I mean, enough to still be a high roller.
No, not enough to be a high roller, but I had incentive then. But Bubba, you look at my book, I got paid off incentives off tackles of quarterback, hitting the quarterback,
pressures and things like that.
Yeah.
Did you have touchdowns as an incentive?
No, I didn't. I should have.
Stupid ass. You had 2 of them. Could have had 200,000 a touchdown, bitch. Made an extra 400. What was your best year, Keith, salary wise? Probably at Bucks, right?
Yeah, probably the Bucks.
Was it more upfront money than it was salary?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you believe the salaries that are being thrown around now? The 130 million.
And that's something serious.
I mean,
wow.
do you ever see
the Marcus Russell contract? What was it?
I think it was 180,
100 for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that? Who's your favorite player in the league right now on both sides of the ball, offensive wise? Kid out of Kansas City, Mahomes.
He's pretty good. It's hard to say. There's so many great guys.
You like the kid? You like the Florida State kid? The Bucks got Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah, I love Jameis Winston.
He's a big kid.
Jameis Winston is doing fantastic, man.
I like that Bruce Arians guy, the new coach.
Yeah.
What about on the defensive side? How about I know who we might like? How about that 52 kid out of Chicago that came from Oakland, Mac?
Oh yeah, he is awesome.
He's a stud, is he not?
Yeah, he is.
Keith,
yeah, he is.
Keith McCants in for Bubba Unsponged. Keith, was it 6 or 7 year NFL veteran, Keith? Let me see, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 6.
Yeah.
I think 95 was your last year.
Yeah, it was.
With the Arizona Cardinals. Keith is back in Tampa, the Tampa-St. Pete area. His friend, Mr. Blackman, is running for St. Pete City Council. And Keith was nice enough to come in and do my Bubba Unsponged for me today. Keith, usually I do it over the phone, but today, was the first time that I did it in studio because you're here.
Right.
And I thank you for doing that. And we got to keep in better touch.
Yeah, we do. We actually do, Bubba.
And your book's out now.
Yeah, My Dark Side of the NFL on Amazon by Keith McCants.
How long's it been out, Keith?
A few months.
3 months.
A few months, yeah.
Is it called My Dark Side of the NFL?
Yeah.
Does it talk about the pain pills?
Yes.
And the shooting up with the cortisone?
Oh yeah. Talking about all of that.
Keith, would it be like when Sam White or whoever, you got a blown out knee, would they take you aside and said, Keith, we're going to give you this shot? You're not going to be, you're literally.
It's in the book, Bubba. You got to read the book. It's all in the book.
And the NFL is the precursor for a lot of guys to get hooked on these pills. Isn't it, Keith? Like that's where a lot of it starts, because take these pills and shut up, because you're property, and you're like a racehorse, and you have to be ready to play.
That's right.
Right? I mean, like a piece of meat.
I tell it like it is, man. You got to get the book.
My Dark Side of the NFL with Keith McCants. It's on Amazon. Go pick it up. I'm sure it's a great read. Keith, I'll get it.
All right.
And let's have you back soon. And Mr. Blackman, as you get closer to the election in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'll get your number and we'll do a couple call-ins and try to get you some votes so that I can have a friend on the St. Pete City Council.
That'd be great, man.
Now, don't win and forget about me and Keith now, because you're all big time.
I've known Keith for too long to forget about him. I think we're attached to the hip. It's been about 10 years. So,
Keith, thank God for this guy helping you out a little bit, Keith, because you can't get around that well.
I know.
And you know what, Mr. Blackman, thank you for taking care of my friend.
Hey, for better or for worse, I think we're together now. So
that's right.
Keith, and I'm really proud of you. I'm not going to talk any shit or anything, but you've had a long, hard road. You've been through a lot. You've been on the highest of highs, and I've seen you a lot lower than you are now. It looks like you're actually doing good. It looks like you're clean. It looks like you're sober. It looks like you're
doing good,
you're bright-eyed.
good. Oh yeah.
And you look good, buddy. Let's just get you a new hip.
That's all.
So you can get back to that 4.6.
4.5.
4.5. Keith McCants, former Buccaneer, former 6-7-time 7-year NFL journeyman, and more importantly, a new author of his book called My Dark Side of the NFL with Keith McCants. Go to Amazon and get that. Mr. Blackman, thank you as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
And everybody, thank you. We're over and out on Bubba Unsponged. I guess I'll play a little thing here. Oh, nope. I guess I'm not playing a little thing here. Caveman, I'm just going to play a little. There you go. Just take it away. I'll play you some background outro music there. And Keith, I'll walk you out, my friend. Mr. Blackman, let's exchange information so that you got my number.
Do it.
All right. Keith, thank you, buddy.
All right, Bubba. Thank you, my man.